friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first of many, hopefully. This is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And sorry, my phone's vibrating. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. And I don't know why it's taken me so long. This is the year that I'm finally gonna do it. I have really been feeling like the urge to pour into my creative outlet again, probably in like the last 6 months or so. I'm using that motivation as an excuse to finally start a series that I've been thinking about for some time. I watch a lot of reality TV, okay? A lot of TV in general, but specifically a lot of reality TV, and I love it. Anyways, I love reality TV. I watch so much reality TV all the time, and one of my favorite things to do after I get caught up on all my shows is I go to YouTube and I listen to a bunch of other random strangers on the internet talk about the shows that I just watched and give me their fun opinions and their takes on it. That's literally some of my favorite content to watch, and so here we are. We're going to start this reality TV recap series with none other than Love is Blind Season 10. This is the Ohio season. Guys, the way that I have so much to say right now, I don't even know how to start. So originally my plan was to obviously cover the whole entire season from beginning to end. I had planned to record a recap for the first 3 episodes and then a recap for episodes 3 through 6 and then so on and so forth. However, by the time I was getting ready to record the recaps for the first 6 episodes, they dropped episodes 7 through 9, and I couldn't wait to watch those episodes. So I just went ahead and I watched, and I now am at the point where I have so many thoughts and so many opinions and just so much to say that I feel like it's pointless for me to even record a recap for the first 6 episodes. We're already in it. We just need to debrief at this point. So, we're going to start. Oh, shit. This is going to be a learning curve, everybody. Just so we know, just so we're aware, I haven't posted on YouTube since I was in middle school. I haven't posted on YouTube since probably 2011 or 2012. So, let's just keep that in mind, okay? As we watch these first couple videos, let's just keep in mind the fact that I have not done this in a while, okay? So it's probably gonna be a little bit rough at first, but we're all gonna be here to witness the journey and the evolution together, okay? I'm ready for it, and I know you are too. Let's do it, okay? So anyways, at this point, we're just going to jump right into it, starting from episode 7. So I'm going to break down all my thoughts on episodes 7 through 9, and we will do another video for episodes 10 and 11, and so on and so forth. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. So starting with episode 7. So at this point, the couples have all moved into their apartment where they will be living together for the rest of the experience up until the weddings. So episode 7, we start off at Brittany and Devontae's apartment in Ohio, and Brittany is she's a little upset at this point where we're starting in the episode. She is pretty much confronting Devontae about how she doesn't really feel like he's super attracted to her. She hasn't really felt any validation from him or any type of reassurance about him finding her attractive, him being wanting to touch her and wanting to be close to her. And she pretty much kind of says the only time he's ever complimented her, he was complimenting her clothes and not her, and she wants to feel like he wants her, and she doesn't just necessarily know that he wants her just because he says it. She wants to feel like he wants her too. So that's what Brittany is coming to Devontae with. And at this point, the first 6 episodes, Brittany and Devontae, it was hard for me to wrap my head around, because I just kind of felt like it was doomed from the start, even before they had their reveal, like the initial reveal after they got engaged, which I felt was very awkward. I don't know if anybody else felt that way. I felt like it was so obvious neither one of them were attracted to each other right off the bat. And Devonte made that weird comment about how he's never dated. No, I'm sorry. He said Brittany is a woman of color, and that's something I've never dated before. I thought that that was such a weird way to phrase that. Why are you saying it like a woman of color is an inanimate object? That's something you've never dated before. So I didn't love that. That was already like red flag number one for me. And then Brittany, honestly, I felt like she was a red flag before they even got engaged, because as soon as she said she had already bought her wedding dress before coming out for this whole experience, I was like, girl, you are setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So, but I love Brittany. I think she is so beautiful, like inside and out. She is such a sweet, sweet, sweet girl, and clearly has just like the most incredible head on her shoulders, and will make an incredible wife to whoever she ends up marrying. Will it be Devonte? Not sure. But she really is worthy and deserving of this type of like romantic love story. So I do understand, like, I understand where she's coming from with the whole like wanting to manifest the perfect husband by buying your wedding dress before you even meet your husband. But is it something I would do? No. Going back to the episode. So they're talking, and Brittany is telling Devonte how she feels, and his response is just odd. Like he doesn't, like he basically tells her that the reason he hasn't been complimenting her is because she told him that he never called her pretty, and then he felt like, okay, well now if I compliment you, it's going to be because you're forcing me to, like, so I don't want to compliment you because now you're forcing me to compliment you. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So that like response made no sense to me. If I were Brittany, I'd be like, what do you mean? Like it's not me forcing you to tell me I'm pretty. It's just the fact that I want to know that you feel that way. Like I want to know, or not that you feel that way. I want to know that you think that. It is basically all she's saying. I just want you to, she's not saying she wants you to tell her like every single moment of every single day that she's beautiful and amazing and you're so obsessed with her, but she wants you to like make her feel wanted, you know? Make her feel like you see her and you're like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful today." You know? Like, is it really that fucking hard to tell your partner that you think that she's pretty? Whatever. So his response was weird at first, and then he kind of like started complimenting her towards the end, and after he said, I didn't compliment you because I felt like you were forcing me to, then he ended up telling her, like, you know, I love that you have natural beauty and you don't like hide your face with a lot of makeup, and I love your smile, I love your height, I love all these things about you. And then she starts to soften and she's happy now and she's like, oh, thanks. So I'm like, I just don't know how I feel about them at this point, because it keeps going back and forth. There are moments where they have these really sweet moments together sometimes. Like their conversations with each other do feel like they do bring kind of a calm energy to one another, and they do sometimes seem like they really enjoy each other's company. And sometimes I watch them and I'm like, okay, this works. But then sometimes it's like, other times I feel like there is no chemistry there. There's no sexual chemistry at all whatsoever. At this point, we still don't even know if they've had sex yet, you know, because remember in Cabo, they were the only couple that hadn't slept together. And we still don't know at this point if they have even talked about that physical boundary more, you know. We don't even know what the physical boundary is, if there is one. So it's just all very like, I don't know. Physical attraction is not everything. it is such a pivotal foundation of a relationship. And I do think that, like, after 10 seasons, we can say love is not fully blind. We've learned that with this show over and over again. And, like, you can build the most incredible connection in the pods, but if you don't love the way that your partner looks in person, you will never be able to, like, fully get there. It's broken up so many Love is Blind couples before. So I just don't know at this point what is going to happen with them. Like, every single scene with them, it seems like they start off in a conflict and then they kind of resolve it. One of them says something that's going to calm the other one down at the end and they're fine, and it feels weird to me, but whatever. Moving on. Okay, so we're 21 days until the weddings at this point, and at this point in the episode, they showed Vic and Christine, and my first thought is, why are we not seeing more of them? I love Vic and Christine. They are by far my favorite couple of this season, and it, like, drives me crazy that we're not seeing more of them. I did not understand why they did not. They were the only couple. Okay, I know what Netflix said. Like, I know the reason that they gave as to why Vic and Christine were not in Cabo with the rest of the couples. However, I feel like if the point of the show is to showcase authentic love stories of two people who met with a wall in between them and fell in love and got engaged without ever seeing each other, and you want to, like, highlight the successful stories, not just the drama, we should be seeing more of them. They are clearly the only couple at this point that is 100% going to say yes at the altar. Nothing that we've seen has indicated otherwise. So I really, really want to watch more of their love story. I want to watch them fall in love. And it's not just, like, small little clips of them talking about their future. I want more, like, I want to watch everything that we're getting from the other couples. Anyways, I just feel like we should be seeing way more of them. So we finally see Vic and Christine for a minute. That's pretty much it. And then the next scene was Jordan coming to see Amber's house. I also really, really love Amber and Jordan. I think that they are such a sweet couple. They seem perfect for each other. Jordan literally seems like the exact picture perfect man that Amber needs as her husband. Like, I literally, every time I see them together, I'm rooting for them so much. I really, really, really do hope it works out for them and that they get married and that they're still together to this day. I think that he's great for her. Everything about him gives, like, a calm, peaceful, loving, respectful energy, and, like, that is what a 33-year-old single mother like Amber needs. And he, like, also balances out her personality so well. I just think that they're great together. So Jordan comes to see Amber's house. That's just a cute little scene. Then we go back to Vic and Christine, and now Vic is meeting Christine's mom. And my first thought was, I actually was very surprised that that's Christine's mom. I don't really see the resemblance between them at all, and I thought that Christine's mom looks so much older than her, which maybe she is, and maybe she had Christine, like, at an older age. I have no idea, but that was just my first thought. Was I did not think that was Christine's mom. But that meeting went very, very well. They had, like, a really nice, sweet conversation about how confident Christine and Vic are in their relationship, and it seemed like Christine's mom really liked Vic and she accepted him, and yeah, there was nothing negative to say about that scene at all. It was great. I wrote they're definitely the best couple, which they are. So yeah. Moving on. Bree goes to Connor's house. She is not impressed. Girlie is like, this is a frat house. You have a keg out here. There's your Christmas tree is still up and it's fucking March. What is this? And I get it. Like, I definitely think it could be kind of an ick to walk into your now fiance's home for the first time and see that it's, like, really not organized and not tidy at all. But I also just think that, like, that's what men live like when they're not living with a woman. You know? Like, I don't think it says anything about Connor as a man that his house looks like that, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I like Connor. I have nothing really negative to say about him. I feel like he's probably, like, the most normal guy of the group this season. So, yeah, I don't really care that his house looks like that before they're ever living together. Like, Bree can clearly decorate. Like, it's not a big deal. You can decorate the house however you want. And clearly this shows you that he's not gonna, like, stop you from doing what you want with the interior design. And that should be fun for you, you know? Like for me, it's really fun that I can do whatever I want to my apartment and my boyfriend's like, okay, I wouldn't have any of this if you didn't live here, so cool. Yeah. All right, moving on. Oh God, we're going to Ashley and Alex now. Ashley and Alex are in the kitchen. I think they're in their apartment at this point, and Alex is calling his mom to tell him that he's engaged. And I thought that Alex's conversation with his mom was very telling. Like, he seemed to have no idea what his mom was doing whatsoever in her life. He did not know that she was searching for a new job or started a new job. He had no idea what state she was living in. This is like the first information that we're getting about Alex's mom, so I thought it was very bizarre that, like, just this whole conversation just seemed odd to me. I really, really strongly dislike Alex. So every time I see a scene with him and Ashley, I'm just like always stressed out and grossed out and icked out watching it. Like at this point, he is very adamant and very, very like clear that he wants Ashley to travel with him. He does not want to stay in Ohio long term. That's very important to him. He keeps talking about his nomadic lifestyle, and I'm like, take a shot every time Alex says the word nomadic. You'd be blacked out, probably. But yeah, so Alex is about to meet Ashley's family for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for the scene. I can't wait to see what her parents fucking say to this guy. I thought Ashley's dad was really cute and sweet. It's very obvious that he loves his baby girl. So Ashley's dad does not hold back at this lunch at all, which I appreciated. I'm like, yes, please fucking call him out on all of this weird stuff he's been saying. So Ashley's dad is kind of grilling Alex a little bit, and it's very clear to me by the way that Ashley's dad, like just his body language and just like his facial expressions while Alex is talking, it seems like he really does not buy anything that Alex is trying to sell to him. It doesn't really look like Ashley's dad believes Alex at all, really, for anything that he's saying. So I just like noted that. I clocked. So Ashley's dad kind of asks Alex about his childhood, and we learn a little bit more about Alex's upbringing, and we learned that, so we knew that Alex's dad was not in the picture for him growing up. He didn't really have that like father figure. He did have a stepfather growing up. However, we learned that he was not close at all to his stepfather. It wasn't really a healthy source of parental or paternal love for him, and we learned that he was beaten by his stepdad growing up, and so it wasn't really like a healthy role model for him, and I thought that that's like really eye-opening. It's very heavy and traumatic, and it definitely, I think that so much of who Alex is kind of a puzzle, and it's a puzzle because of his past traumas, and some stuff that he's gone through in his childhood clearly has shaped him as a person in adulthood a lot more than he wants to admit. He has referenced before, like earlier in the season, that he doesn't feel like not having his dad growing up has affected him in any way as a man. And watching that was so interesting to me because there's just no way that that's true. That, like, lack of a parental figure, especially like your biological parent, when you're looking for models, you know, in childhood, and you're looking at your parents to kind of model behavior for you, and you don't have that as a boy, you don't have like a father figure to look up to in that way, it definitely does something to you. And it maybe doesn't show up in a way that's obvious to you, but it will in a way that's obvious to others. And I think Alex is like a perfect example of that. His behavior and the way that he communicates and the way that he just acts in general is very, very odd and bizarre. And like, he acts like you'll never know if he's fully being straight up with you. And it's kind of like one foot in the door, one foot out. I don't know. I'm very defensive, standoffish. And I just definitely think that not having a dad that he could rely on and really, you know, was supportive of him, I think that really affected him, and he doesn't want to admit, he clearly hasn't done the work on himself to like accept that about him, you know? Because he keeps saying that it has not impacted him as a man, but we're seeing it in real time that it has. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, I wrote down again, Ashley's dad thinks Alex is lying about everything. And then I also, when Ashley's dad asked Alex, did you vote for Trump? Or who'd you vote for? That was so random, and it caught me off guard when I was watching it, and I was like, oh, well, I'm not surprised to hear that Alex would have voted for Trump. That was like the least shocking piece of information I received the entire episode. Like, ugh. Run, Ashley, run. Literally run. And again, going back to Alex's childhood and what we've learned about that, he doesn't feel tethered to anything. He doesn't have a career because he kind of missed out on his opportunity to pursue soccer because of his injuries. Soccer is clearly his therapy, and losing that in such a big way, I'm sure also just like had to have been so devastating for him. You know what I mean? Like, that is just such a, to live your whole childhood and adolescence thinking that you were going to do one thing and then have it kind of ripped away from you because of something that is out of your control. You know, like, as much as injuries are out of your control sometimes, like, that is just tough. I also wrote, Alex wants to make him seem bigger and super polished. He does. He has a big ego. He wants to come off to everybody else like he has his shit figured out and his shit doesn't stink at all. And if you question anything, he gets immediately super defensive and immediately kind of closes up. Yeah, he's very, very, he wants you to think that he's bigger than what he actually is. Okay, the last thing that happens in this episode is Emma and Mike are talking about Mike's stance on children. And at this point, I respect Mike for like constantly speaking his mind about this. I don't think that they should have gotten engaged. I think that this is like the one thing that you can't compromise on in a marriage. If one partner wants kids and the other one does not, that is not going to work. It's never going to work because the partner that doesn't get their way is always going to feel resentful, and they're always going to feel like they made that choice just for the other person to please their partner, and it's just not going to work out. And so I just really feel like if Emma is so adamant that she does not want kids and she's never wanted kids, she should not even consider changing her mind just for Mike. I don't think that Emma is ready to get married at all. I don't think that Emma should have gone on this show, if we're being honest. We'll talk more about it later. But yeah, Girly does not need to willingly get married within a month of knowing someone. Like, it's not a good idea for her. Okay. So that is the end of episode 7. We're moving on to episode 8. This episode didn't have like that much meat in it for me. Let's see. Again, first thing I'm writing on my notepad is Vic and Christine. Why don't we see more of them? It makes me mad. They don't show them enough. It's crazy. Okay, so we start to see more of Jess and Chris in this episode. Jess visits Chris's apartment, and she says it's cute. It's in a perfect location, but she has clearly a lot more space at her house that she owns. 4-bedroom house. So it does make more sense that they would move into her house rather than his apartment or I don't know. Is it apartment, townhome? I don't know. But yeah, they go to her house after his apartment, and her house is beautiful and it looks huge on the inside. And then they talk about how they have agreed that they don't want kids, and I think that's great. Like, great to find a partner that is aligned with you on not wanting children. Great. Love that. Okay. Moving on. Alex and Ashley. Again. Okay, they're at the kitchen table in this scene. Ashley she was working on something, and Alex is kind of like pretending to work on something. He's like has his phone in front of him and his computer, and she's like, "Are you on a meeting? Are you on a call?" And he's like, "No, I'm just like waiting to see if this guy that does day trading, if he's like my inspiration. I'm just waiting to see if he's gonna like go on and live stream, and I'm gonna listen in if he does." And she's like, "Oh, how do you know when the meeting's happening? Like, do they send you a notification to join the call?" And he's like, no, I just like check back. I just like check in a lot, so I just kind of happen to be on whenever they're on. Anyways. Okay, so Ashley's telling Alex that she has a meeting with her boss the next day about potentially moving up in the company. She's trying to explore potential promotions or other career opportunities, but she really wants to stay at her company that she works for right now. She really likes it there. She feels like they give her good benefits and they're very accommodating. So, and then again, Alex is like repeatedly saying over and over again, how do you feel, like what do you think the timeline is about us moving out of Ohio, like what between this state and this state, like where do you see yourself? And she's like, I could go either way, like I don't really care, I'm willing to move out of Ohio, but I can't pick up and leave tomorrow. I have a job and I'd like to keep it, so you need to give me some time to figure out if I can get a job at a different state, like at a different location for my company. And she's like, dude, we've been back home for like 5 minutes and you won't stop asking me about this, and you expect me to just know where I'll be able to move and when I'll be able to move there, and I don't have those answers yet. So she's like, Alex, can I get back to you tomorrow? And he's like, okay, yeah, fine. Again, it's like she's making such valid points. Why would he expect her to know exactly where she wants to move and if they would be willing to move in the next 5 months when she doesn't even, like, you guys have just gotten back to real life, okay? Let's focus on the wedding first. Anyways, I wrote down, this is like the most profound thing that I wrote in my whole notebook while watching. Alex talks to her like he's in a meeting, not like a real person. Have you noticed that? Every time he talks to her, he's like, well, do you want me to go over the dates again with you? Do you want me to go and check my email? Do you want me to go? It's like he doesn't talk to her like she's his girlfriend, his fiance. He talks to her like she's not a real person. Or he is not a real person. Like, he is always, like, putting on a show. He's always wearing a mask. That is how I feel about him. Every time he says anything, I'm like, what are you, like, nothing that comes out of your mouth is the truth, and it is so obvious. He's always trying to, like, play a part. That's what I'm getting from him. Okay, so then it kind of goes into the fucking conversation about Ashley reorganizing his water bottles in the fridge. Why are you annoyed about that? It literally makes no sense. And why are you bringing this up on camera? She's like, we talked about this last night. Or we talked about it the other day. So, yeah, I was confused about that. I'm like, why are you even bringing this up? This is not like a juicy fight for us to watch on TV. You're mad that she moved your water bottles? Like, you're annoyed because you put your water bottles in the fridge a certain way and she moved it over? So stupid. Then Ashley is pretty much saying, like, you know, we had this really intimate date yesterday and I was in the mood when we got home and you just kind of ran out. Like, we haven't really been intimate with each other since we were in Mexico. Like, what's up with that? And he says, well, I'm trying to be aware of your period. What? You're trying to be aware of her period? So he's like, I don't want a kid right now, and so I'm really trying to be aware that, like, when you're on your period. And she's like, oh, so when I'm on my period, you can't touch me? And she's like, first of all, I'm not on my period right now. Second of all, you can touch me while I'm on my period. Like, what are you talking about? And then she has to say, I'm not going to get pregnant on my period, Alex. And he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, okay, well, I don't know when you're ovulating. I don't know. Is it the period, like, it's the time right after your period that you can get pregnant? I just don't know. Like, I don't know when the period is. And, like, I'd be happy to get a shared tracker if you would want that. If that would make you feel better, we can have a shared tracker between us so that I am aware of these things and I can know when your period is, so I can know when we can have sex. And she's like, I don't want you to track my period. Like, you don't need to do that. I'm a grown woman and I know when we can have, like, what? Yeah, I would be like, get the fuck out of this apartment before I cuss you out. For real. If I were her, I would not be able to sit here and, like, act like a normal person through that type of conversation. I just wouldn't be able to. It's so ridiculous. Like, what are you talking about? You cannot. What are you talking about? Anyways. So Ashley gets up. She's like, I have to walk away. This conversation is so ridiculous. We're already arguing about fucking water bottles and my period. So she walks into the bedroom. I'm like, I don't blame her at all. I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. And then eventually Ashley comes back out and they kind of resolve the conflict. Ashley's like, I'm not trying to trap you. I don't want kids either right now. And I just need some more time to figure out like what the options are for my job, and like we will figure it out basically. Okay, so then Jordan meets Amber's brother. That goes well. Again, Jordan just compliments her perfectly. And then there's a scene finally with Vic and Christine. They're walking around in some type of garden or park. They're talking just about their future. They're talking about how they want to give themselves like 2 years of marriage before they start to think about settling down and having a family. They both agree on that timeline. They then have a pretty nice conversation about having a biracial child together and what that will mean for them, and kind of like exploring each other's thoughts and feelings on that issue. And I'm glad that they showed this. I think that's a really important thing to talk about before you get married in an interracial relationship. And I'm glad that Netflix decided to give us this scene and didn't just like make them invisible the whole episode like every other episode. They're clearly having the types of conversations that you need to have before getting married. And every time I see them, I'm more confident that they will have a successful marriage. Like they just seem to be exactly what each other needs. So, okay, so then Devante goes to meet Brittany's family. And see, this scene was fine. Like this scene, they seemed totally happy together. Brittany's family seemed to love Devante, and it seemed like they were really enjoying each other's company. So again, I'm not sure. I can't figure out like what is going on there. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it seems like Brittany's family really likes him and they accepted him as their son. And they talk about how divorce is not an option. And I have so many thoughts on that as a statement, but I will save it. We'll talk about that later. Connor meets Bree's mom. That goes well. Emma meets Mike's family. Oh my God. Mike's mom, I could not deal. Mike's mom was so rude to Emma. It was driving me crazy. Mike's mom seemed like the typical boy mom who's obsessed with her son and is like gonna be in perpetual competition with whoever her son dates or marries, or like his mom really seems like the type of mother-in-law who would just judge every single thing you do, and it will never be good enough for her because nothing is ever good enough for her baby boy, and he's so perfect, and like nothing will ever be good enough. So that's the vibe that I got from Mike's mom. I thought that she was so rude and condescending to Emma. Everything she said to her, I was just like, girl, like, whatever. Yeah, so I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that Mike's parents, but really his mom, I didn't like the way that she talked to Emma and the way that she acted towards Emma. I thought it was very mean, and I wouldn't have been very comfortable if I were Emma, but Emma handled it well, I thought. I thought she handled it very well. And Mike's parents make the comment about there is no divorce. I just think it's like ridiculous. Like, guys, sometimes there is divorce. Sometimes divorce happens. And it's the best option sometimes for divorce to happen. So it's okay. Let's get over that. Okay, so then we get to a scene with Jess and Chris. Jess is upset. Jess comes home, and she's pretty much upset because Chris went out the night before and left her and didn't really tell her, I guess, where he was going, and didn't really communicate with her that night. And Chris just starts acting really odd. He's like saying that he doesn't have to be in constant communication with her, which, like, you do. If this is the woman that you're going to marry, you kind of do have to be. You don't have to be texting her every single second of every day, but to go a full 24 hours without speaking to your spouse is definitely not great. I would be upset about that too. Like you can't go that long without communicating with your spouse. So I wrote down here that Chris is talking about their relationship in past tense, which was like the first time he'd ever done. Before, I feel like before this scene, every time we've seen Chris and Jess, it's always been very positive. Like they've been very happy with each other, and then all of a sudden Chris's energy just completely shifted, and he started talking about like, I was so happy, I was so this, I was so that. And it's like, okay, clearly something's wrong. So then Chris starts talking about how he is not physically attracted to Jess. And I am just so confused at this point. This is where shit starts to get really, really infuriating. So Chris starts to tell Jess that he is not fully into it with their physical connection because he's used to dating girls who go to Pilates and CrossFit every day. He's used to a more toned body, someone who like works out every day. And I'm confused because Jess is like objectively fit. Like she's not in bad shape at all. Is she the most toned woman you've ever seen in your life? No, but she is not, like, if I looked at Jess, I would think that she works out. Okay, like maybe not every day, but like I would think that she exercises. You know what I mean? Like she's fit. So that's how episode 8 ends. So we're clearly, it leaves us on this cliffhanger. All right, episode 9. Bear with me, guys. We're powering through it. We're powering through it. This video is going to be long, and it's okay. It's okay. Okay, episode 9. So Chris tells Jess that she's not his usual type because she doesn't do Pilates every day. Meanwhile, Chris is not a bodybuilder. Let's start there. Chris is not even, like, Chris is saying that he's used to dating women who do Pilates every day and are super toned and super fit. Chris is, like, nowhere near that. Chris doesn't look like he's in the gym every day. He doesn't look like he's super toned and fit, and like he definitely doesn't have abs. You're expecting your fiance to be like a model and have a constant beach body ready, but you yourself are not also that? Like, okay. And also, Jess is a doctor. Sometimes shit happens and you have to stay even longer at the hospital. And those shifts are already long. So, fuck you, Chris. Like, what? And also, he knew that she was not working out before they got engaged. Like, she told him all of this. So, Chris goes on to say that the more they have sex, he doesn't say have sex, but he basically alludes to it. He's like, the more we do it, the more I'm not sure if I can fully get into it. At this point, Jess is crying. Chris says he wonders what it would be like if he chose his number 2 girl in the pods, which is Bree, and I think Jess knows that he's talking about Bree. I'm like, that's fucked up to say, because now you're basically saying like, oh yeah, I met Bree and I think she's so much hotter than you, and I think about what our sex would be like, and if it would be better than my sex with you. Is that not crazy? So Jess literally says, sorry I can't go to Pilates every day. I just work at the hospital every day. Like, yeah, period, girl. She's like, yeah, sorry I can't go to a Pilates class at 7 a.m. when I'm at the hospital fucking treating patients every day. Like, fuck you, dude. So, yeah, like, at this point, I'm not sure why she would ever want to be with him at all. Like, he's saying we can still work past this. Like, I want to go through with the experience. I want to go through with it until the end. And I'm like, why the fuck would she ever want to continue to date you after this? You just told her that you think that their sex is awful, and you think about what it would be like with another woman that you didn't propose to, and that you don't think she's pretty enough for you because she doesn't go to the gym every day. Why would she want to be with you? You're delusional for thinking that she would ever want to be with you. And I don't even think that Chris thought that. Like, I think that he really fully was trying to get out of the relationship, but then he wants to make it look like Jess is the one being unreasonable for like being affected by what he's saying to her. It's complete bullshit. Okay, so that is the end of that scene, and I'm like, Jess, literally run for the hills, girl. Abort mission. Okay, again, we're with Brittany and Devontae. Brittany is once again telling Devontae how she needs more validation and reassurance. Oh, this is the scene where he starts giving her those compliments at the end. I got those two mixed up. I was thinking that was in episode 7, but it was now. So sorry about that if you were confused earlier. So again, Devontae handles this like very weird at first, and then the conversation ends with him giving her a bunch of compliments. She seems to like take this well. She's smiling again. They're giggling with each other. I have no idea if they're. I have no idea. I don't even know how I feel about them as a couple at this point because it's like all so confusing to watch. So then we go to a scene with Chris and Connor meeting up, and Chris is talking to Connor about his conversation with Jess and basically how Jess wants nothing to do with him anymore and she's left and whatever. I think Connor is way more mature than Chris at this. Sorry, I think that Connor is honestly being way too nice to Chris, given Chris is literally trying to steal his girl, which maybe Connor doesn't know this at this point, but we do find out later that Chris had sent Bree a DM on Instagram, like right after him and Jess broke up. So I'm pretty sure Connor already knew at this point when they're filming a sit down between him and Chris that Chris is like thinking about his partner. So I just like I feel bad that Connor is now like in the middle of this for no reason. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, but I'm also not very happy with Bree. Okay. So this next scene, Ashley meets Alex's mom. Alex's mom is also nomad. How many times are we going to hear the word nomadic in this fucking season? I'm tired of it. I don't really have much to say about Alex's mom. I think Alex's mom is another typical boy mom. And I don't think that Alex and his mom are really as close as this scene is trying to make us believe. I think that probably it's more like the first interaction we saw between Alex and his mom, which was that phone conversation, and Alex had no idea what was going on in his mom's life. I really don't think that Alex is like talking to his mom every day and when they're not filming the show. That's really all I have to say. Okay, so then Mike meets Emma's family, and this scene, again, I don't think that they should be engaged. Emma's family is pretty much like very adamant that they never thought that Emma would ever have children because she has been so firm in her belief and her stance to not want kids for her whole life. And Emma's sister makes a comment. Emma's sister has 2 children, and she basically says, like, I love my kids, I would do anything for them, but if I got to the end of this life and I had the chance to do it all again, I wouldn't have kids the second time around. And I think that that is a very profound thing to say, especially on a TV show. I think it's something that women don't talk about enough. The fact that, like, once you become a mother, you will never not be a mother ever again. You will always be a parent. And motherhood does take things away from you. And that is a lifelong commitment you have to be willing to make. So I don't think it's wrong for someone who is a mother to kind of like explore those feelings and say, like, I love my kids. I wanted kids my whole life, but now that I have kids, I kind of wonder what my life would be like if I didn't have them sometimes. And I think that that's valid. Like, that there's nothing wrong with saying that. I think that was actually like really profound, and it was probably helpful for Emma to hear that from her sister, because I think she does need that perspective. Like, she needs to remember what she felt about having kids versus not having kids before she met this man. So, yeah, like, I totally agree with Emma's family. I don't think that Emma should change her mind about having kids just for Mike. If she's going to change her mind about having kids, it should be because she genuinely wants them and will be happy having them. Right now, it doesn't seem like that's how she feels. So I really hope that they don't get married. As much as I like want to root for them, I think that they look so cute together. Like, they just look like they should be a couple, but I don't think that it's in either of their best interest to move forward. I just don't, because I think either way it's going to end in someone being angry and resentful, and it's going to end in divorce if they don't figure this out before the wedding. So okay, we're back to Ashley and Alex now. I just hate him. Okay, so Ashley and Alex are talking a little bit about Alex's past relationships. And everything that comes out of this man's mouth is a fucking lie. It is so obvious to me. Everything, like, he's telling a bunch of really fabricated, detailed stories about his timeline and when he dated his ex-girlfriend and when he was traveling, and Ashley is catching him in a lot of lies in this conversation. So, he basically is talking about how he dated this one girl before he moved to Ohio, I think, and she cheated on him. She was a travel nurse, I believe. So she cheated on him, they broke up, and then he ended up like, no, sorry, this girl wasn't a travel nurse. There was a girl before the travel nurse that he dated, and she cheated on him. Then he dated this girl that was a travel nurse, and he says that this was like a more casual, not really like a committed relationship. But then he goes on to tell Ashley that he went to Austin once for a week to visit her. And when she's like, so what happened? Like, what was the vibe when you were in Austin? And he goes, oh, I mean, we hooked up for sure. Like, I wouldn't want to hear that. Like, that's so gross. So then Ashley's like, wait, hold on. Because Ashley's trying to get, like, the timeline, like, the dates of, like, when he broke up with his ex, when he was dating this girl, when he went to Austin. Because then he says after Austin, he was in Cleveland, and he was dating another girl, a different girl. That was right before he went on the show. So then Ashley's like, stops him, and she's like, wait. She basically notices that the timeline that he gave of events would pretty much, there would be some overlap in which he was supposed to be dating this girl in Cleveland, but then that period of time where he was dating the girl in Cleveland was when he went to Austin to see his ex, and he already said he hooked up with his ex in Austin. And then he kind of backtracks, and he's like, no, like, that the Cleveland girl was after Austin. It was like right after. And nothing he says is the truth. Like, he can't even keep track of all the lies that he's just told. And Ashley just, like, it's written all over her face. She's like, she doesn't believe him. So I'm very confused why she's still even entertaining this conversation at all. Because he looks like a liar, he sounds like a liar, and she looks like she knows he's a liar. So whatever. So yeah, I wrote down, Ashley doesn't believe his bullshit, but I don't know why she's not saying anything. Whatever. It's like, girl, you need to, like, run. And I don't know why. I don't know what she sees in him at this point, because I feel like every single scene we have seen of them together since their reveal in the pods has just given me the ick. Like, he's just not a good man. He does not seem like a husband at all. I mean, the end of episode 9, they are at a big group event at a bowling alley. This is one of the first, like, big group get-togethers since they've been out of the pods. And this is the first get-together where some of the other Pod Squad members who didn't get engaged are coming to meet up with them. So we see Kia, we see Kevin, and we see Priyanka, which Priyanka was really not shown at all in the pod, so I was confused as to why she was there, but clearly there's a reason why she was there. We'll get to it. So Amber hates Chris. I wrote that down. She kept making comments about him being a pussy ass bitch, and I loved her commentary. I'm like, yes, Amber, you're right. He is an asshole. All the girls clearly are not happy with Chris. They're all like, I'm not even going to say hi to him. I'm not going to talk to him, whatever. So that is when we find out that Chris DM'd Bree the night that him and Jess broke up. This is before Jess gets to the event. So Bree's telling the rest of the girls that Chris DM'd her and that she showed Connor and she didn't respond. And so they're all like, what a piece of shit. Like, what an asshole. So then Priyanka, at this point, I think Priyanka walks in and Alex is like, oh, is that, I don't know, is that Priyanka? So then we find out that Alex actually knew Priyanka from before the show. They have like a mutual friend group from Chicago. And so Alex says in his confessional that he wanted Priyanka's, experience to be untarnished. So he didn't say anything about knowing her because otherwise her experience would be tarnished. I'm like, everything you say is bullshit. So the first thing I think is, oh my God, do Priyanka and Alex have some like romantic history or sexual history in the past? And then I'm like, does Ashley know that Alex and Priyanka know each other? Like, I fucking hope that she already knows this, because if she finds out that Alex and Priyanka knew each other previously and neither of them told her, it's gonna look really sketchy and she's probably gonna be pissed off. Um, so then Jess arrives to the event. All the girls are super excited to see her. They hug her, they're jumping up and down, and they're all like, oh my God, your body. They're basically like trolling Chris. And they're like, your body looks amazing. Do you work out, Miss Doctor? And he deserves it. And he's like, oh, they all fucking hate me. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. Like, you should act like you do for at least a little bit, because you're coming off like such a dick. It's crazy. Um, So Jess is talking to Amber and Christine about what Chris said to her at the apartment. And the look on Christine's face was priceless. Christine could not even believe what she was hearing. Christine has it so good. Like, Christine's man is so perfect that she is literally listening to Jess outline the horrors and the traumatic events that took place in their apartment. And Christine can't even believe that a man would talk to their fiance that way and say those things. She's absolutely like, her jaw was on the floor, and I thought it was like her eyes were like, could not believe what she was hearing. She could not believe it. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. The girls have the correct response to everything, that Chris is an asshole. Then Chris is talking to some of the guys, and he keeps saying that he doesn't give a flying fuck. Take a shot every time he said that, you'd be drunk. So then clearly Chris is getting drunk. It is very obvious that he's intoxicated in this scene, and then like this is where the episode started to take a turn for me, and I was like infuriated. So Chris moves from just talking to the men about his feelings towards Jess and their relationship and their physical chemistry. Then he starts talking to some of the girls about it. He's talking to Bree, Ashley, and Priyanka. And first of all, I'm like, I really did not like how none of the girls, at least from what they showed in the episode, none of the girls cut him off and said, you're being really loud and disrespectful. Like, keep your voice down if you're going to say this to us, because it's like he was yelling about how horrible their sex was and how he doesn't find her attractive and how he wants to keep fucking until he's in his 70s, and he wants to make sure his partner is like on his level when it comes to their sex life. And it was just gross. Like, ew, I don't want to hear someone else's ex-fiance talk to me about how they don't think their sex was good. Like, that is just like, so yeah, I thought that conversation was crazy, and the fact that none of the girls like cut him off was weird. So then eventually Ashley and Priyanka kind of push back on him a little bit, and then they walk away. They go to find Alex for a conversation. So then it's just Chris and Bree. And this is where I'm starting to get like a little bit irritated with Bree, because I'm like, I don't understand why she was even entertaining this conversation. Like, I get you had a connection with Chris in the pods, but you're engaged. He was engaged to one of your friends, and now that he's like done this horrible shit to one of your friends from the pods, I don't understand why she wanted to have any type of conversation with him whatsoever. And he's like doubling down on everything he said about Jess with the other girls, and saying that there was no physical connection. He thought that their sex was awful. He said that like a few times, that the sex was horrible. Like, I just think that's so rude. And then he moves into talking about Bree and Connor, and he's like just kind of alluding to the fact that he doesn't think Connor is good enough for Bree. And he's like, you need someone who's gonna have a clear cut plan and like what the next 5 to 10 years is going to look like, someone who's going to be able to take care of you. And Connor, like, he's great, but he's so submissive, and he's such a yes man, and blah blah blah. And like, that's kind of how the episode ends. It kind of is like kind of a cliffhanger leading into episode 10. So we'll talk about it more, but I'm just like, if I were Bree, I would not have entertained that type of conversation at all. I would have just told him, like, look, what you did was really fucked up and mean, and Jess did not deserve that. And I don't feel comfortable having this type of conversation with you right after this just happened. And she's here. Like, I wonder what Jess was thinking while they were having this conversation. It just, it's crazy how fast Chris, like, switched up in all of this, because the first half of the season it really felt like Chris and Jess had a solid relationship, and he seemed to really be into her. So now that he's like flipped the switch, he is like really, really, really the villain of the season, and I never would have seen that coming. So it's just crazy. Okay, that is basically it for episodes 7 through 9. This was a very, very lengthy video, so apologies for that. But if you stuck through it and you watched to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And my plan for how this channel is going to progress. So obviously, we're covering Love is Blind. I'm going to continue covering Love is Blind through the rest of the season. So once I watch episodes 10 and 11, which I believe is the next drop, I will film a recap for those episodes, and then we will film a recap for the weddings and then the reunion, all that jazz. We will finish the season strong. I'm also thinking about recapping other shows like Survivor. Survivor 50 is about to start, and Survivor is my all-time favorite reality show. So I definitely will be recording some videos for Survivor, some Survivor content, and The Bachelorette. Also, when The Bachelorette starts, I will definitely be covering The Bachelorette. And I'm sure we'll be doing some other fun stuff on this channel as well, on top of the reality TV recaps. That's not the only thing that I want to do on my YouTube channel, but it is a very, very good starting point for me, and something I think will be really fun and just a good creative outlet for me. So I'm really excited, and I hope you enjoyed my first Love is Blind recap. Stay tuned for the next couple episodes, which will be dropping in the next couple days. Bye!